Welcome back to another Monday morning quarterback show here on Bleacher Report. I'm Kurt Benkert, the host, and we're going to be talking about quarterbacks, playoff picture, MVP odds, and everything in between. Now, we're here on a Monday morning, obviously, and the playoff picture could not be crazier. MVP odds shifting, and we've got storylines developing all across the league with teams that are trending up, trending down, and what we see today in this playoff picture is not going to be what we see most likely by the time the season comes to a wrap. But currently, where we are, we've got the Broncos and the Eagles, two top dogs. Both teams that, in my opinion, aren't even playing their best football, might not even be the best two teams in the league. And there's some other teams that are right behind them creeping up. But we'll get to all of this. We've got chat today. You guys are rolling. We've got it. Any Q&A you want all show long, we'll be answering, talking ball, any question you have. Happy to give my opinion and advice from, but let's get to the playoff picture. I love it. So when you look at this thing across the board, you have the Broncos and the Eagles, both 1 seeds. AFC, we'll start here. You have the 2 seed New England Patriots, who might actually end up the 1 seed by the time it's all said and done when you look at the schedule. I believe, now don't fact check me, but I'm pretty sure it's true. The Patriots have the easiest strength of schedule, and they have the most favorable schedule down the stretch. The Broncos, on the flip side, have some divisional games that'll be a little bit tough, and New England does too, but the Broncos' path to the 1 seed looks a little bit tougher than the Patriots' path to the 1 seed, so keep that in mind. Then you have number 3, you have the Colts, who right now have a 1-game lead ahead of the Bills, but as long as the Patriots stay ahead of the Bills, even if the Bills have a better record than the Colts by the time the year's done, the Colts will end up with that 3 seed if they are the top 3 of the divisional winners in record. And then you look at number 4, Pittsburgh. Now, this one's interesting because Aaron Rodgers left the game last night or yesterday afternoon with a wrist injury. Sources close are saying that he won't be out for long, but we don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know the severity of it. But I will say the Steelers at 6-4, while the Ravens, we'll get to them in a bit, are 5-5, kind of creeping up behind them. It's kind of sketchy. I'm not going to lie to you. And I will say, though, the Steelers defense has been playing better. And Mason Rudolph, he's gotten them to the playoffs before. So this is not like uncharted waters for them. And while we're on the Steelers, though, I do have some playoff probability numbers here. The Steelers are 6-4 and first in the AFC North. The Ravens are 5-5 and second in the AFC North. But the Ravens have a 77% chance of making the playoffs, while the Steelers have a 39% chance of making the playoffs currently, according to the NFL. Incredible. And you look at some of these teams in the hunt, like you've got the Texans at 5-5, the Chiefs who are 5-5, and we know the Chiefs, they could turn it on down the stretch, but they're in kind of uncharted waters too, which we will get a little bit onto the Chiefs here in a second with co-pilot, but you've got the Dolphins 4-7. Somehow they're finding ways. And yeah, they're a couple of games behind, but down the stretch, anything can happen. And the Bengals 3-7 with Joe Burrow's return looming Thanksgiving night. The AFC is kind of wide open. And if we can flip back to the graphic real quick before we get into our co-pilot question, you got to look at the last 2 teams in this AFC picture. You've got the Chargers, who are 6th seed right now at 7-4, but they are trending down. They did not look good. They got dog walked by the Jaguars, who the Jaguars now holding the 7th seed. I actually think that the Jaguars have a better chance of making a wild card spot than the Chargers do. When you're looking at how their rosters are built, how healthy they are, the guys they have, the defense's performance, I'd be kind of shocked to see the Chargers make the playoffs if they played like they did yesterday down the stretch. You've got teams like the Ravens creeping, teams like the Chiefs creeping, and even the Texans are creeping. So the AFC, in my opinion, wide open. Wide open. But we got to talk to co-pilot today because co-pilot has an interesting answer for us. Let's talk to it. Now, the question that we have, please hold. Boop, 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 boop. When is the last season that the Kansas City Chiefs did not make the playoffs? The last season the Chiefs missed the playoffs was in 2014. Since then, they've made the postseason every single year, marking a streak of 10 consecutive appearances from 15 through 24. This run includes multiple AFC Championship wins and three Super Bowl titles, solidifying their status as one of the NFL's most dominant franchises. However, as of Week 11, the Chiefs are currently 5-5 and outside of the playoff positioning, trailing both Denver and the Chargers in the AFC West. Now, when you look at this AFC West picture, guys, I'm going to be honest. I think that the Chiefs could walk down the Chargers. But I don't think the Chiefs are going to walk down the Broncos, especially after what just happened. The Broncos are 9-2, probably going to be looking good in the tiebreaker category, and the Chiefs would have to win out and get some help, in my opinion, to take the AFC West. Right now, it just looks like they're playing for the wild card spot, which again, even in the wild card spot, guys, they're a game behind the Jaguars, 2 games behind the Chargers, and you still have the Ravens creeping. And if the Ravens find a way to bump the Steelers are still a game in front of the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs are actually on the outside looking in for the first time in God knows how long. And it's getting a little swifty here, but I will say, I know we might not have this tweet that I put up from a while ago, but Taylor Swift, new album, Orange this year, Orange theme. Broncos were plus 300 to win the AFC West at the beginning of the season. There's signs everywhere if you just want to look for them. Now, I will say we can get the chat. If you guys have any questions, throw them down there. See you guys bumping around. We've got YouTube chat. We got in-app chat on Bleacher Report. We got it all. Thank you guys so much for being here. Also, I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I sure as hell did. I did a bunch of stuff around the house. Got to watch ball, spend time with the family. It's incredible. Christmas season is right around the corner. Beautiful time. Ooh, his Bears wear orange. Season of orange, man. The season of orange. It is back. I went to the University of Virginia, right over there. We got the helmet that is kind of blocked by the slate here, but it's an orange year, guys, is what it is. Now, we're still in playoff picture. We got to flip to the NFC because the NFC is just as crazy, man. Just as crazy. When you look at it again, you've got the Eagles at the 1 seed, whose offense is damn near non-existent. But you got the Rams as the 2 seed, and the Rams, I think the Rams are the best team in the league. I said it a couple weeks ago, and when you look at it, the Rams lost to the Eagles early in the year in a game that they should not have lost. They blew a bad fourth quarter lead, had a blocked extra point, blocked field goal, all this other stuff. The Rams had the Eagles walked down into the end of the game. And the Rams are trending up. The Eagles' offense kind of stagnant, not good. But I think as long as Matthew Stafford is playing how he's playing right now, later into the year, the Rams are going to be the team to beat. And let's not forget, we had Eagles-Commanders NFC Championship game last year. What was the game before that? Rams-Eagles snow game, where Matthew Stafford almost walked them down, and they were a touchdown away from winning the game and going to the NFC Championship game. And it came down to like ball in the 15 or so, 20-yard line, just crazy. And they almost got it done, but they couldn't. So that's what we're looking at. We got the Bears, the Bucks, the Seahawks, some of these other teams that are kind of floating around that I think are going to be fine. And the Packers and the Niners, 2 teams that I also played for, bench warmers, baby. Shout out to the bench warmers that are currently keeping the Lions out of the NFC playoff picture. It's incredible. Down the stretch, this is going to be nuts. But we do have to go to our MVP section because there are new odds for a new week. And Josh Allen, after an incredible 6-touchdown performance, bouncing back from 2 interceptions, kind of flipping a little bit. Let's turn over the odds. So the odds have changed. Last week, Drake May was leading the charge. This week, Matthew Stafford leading the charge. Incredible. We got Matthew Stafford plus 150, Drake May plus 185, Josh Allen plus 475. I don't think he's going to win it this year, to be honest. I think it's going to be Stafford. If you look at what Stafford's doing, he is playing absolutely lights out, taking care of the ball. And Josh Allen, he is making some plays, but he also is getting some help on these long catch and runs. You got the screen that he threw here that went the distance. Okay. And we will be breaking down a Josh Allen play later. He's got a bunch of Buffalo tush push touchdowns. And then these are the plays that we love. 3-man rush, scramble around. We'll touch on this one later, but those are your vintage Josh Allen plays that he really benefits from playing this weak Bucks defense. But he did have to go toe-to-toe. I don't want to take anything away from Josh. I love Josh. Josh and I came out in the same draft class. His career looks a lot different than mine did, but he has been a dog since day one, and he's only going to get better. He's got to stay healthy, but they're cooking in Buffalo. And Josh had a great win, 19 of 30, 6 total touchdowns, 357 yards. But even then, it wasn't fully clean. They ran away with the game at the end, but they still had things to clean up. In my opinion, the Bills need to find ways within the scheme of the system to hit things in rhythm because they cannot live on the broken play late in the playoffs. I don't think that's going to be a way that they can really go down the stretch when they're playing against a Broncos type defense, maybe a Patriots defense, hell, a Steelers defense. I think they're going to have to get a little bit more consistent, but now look at this. NFL players with 3 passing touchdowns and 25 plus yards in a game, 182, with 3 rushing touchdowns in a game, 357. The only one to ever do it one time, all at one time, Josh Allen yesterday. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, chat. Let's see it. Are the Ravens getting through into the playoffs? I think they are. I think they are. And they dodged a bullet with the Browns defense yesterday. They finally got it done late. We're able to get down the stretch. But if they can do that against the Browns defense, they can do it against any defense. I think that the Ravens find a way in. And when you're looking at this playoff picture, I think the Chargers are going to be out, man. 7-4 right now, trending down. I think that they have put everything they had into this, and they are not going to be able to keep Justin Herbert upright. So I'm looking at the Chargers to get bumped out, the Ravens to get bumped in. Maybe even Ravens to take over the AFC North, but Steelers, man, that defense starting to look a little crazy. Better respect the Panther. Did you see the Twitter comments? Of course, jokes. I know I said something about Bryce Young. Why couldn't he have done that against the Saints? Mainly because I suggested them as a survivor pick last week in my sleeper leagues. But the Panthers, dude, they look prepared. Canales is calling a great game now. He took the handcuffs off of Bryce Young. Bryce Young just letting it rip, dude. He is absolutely letting it rip. Love seeing it this week. And now the Panthers are just what? They're on a technicality because they haven't had their bye yet. They're a half a game essentially, or a game behind the Lions in the playoff picture. They're at the 9 spot right now. They've got to pick it up to make the playoffs, but they beat the Packers, and the Packers only had that slotted because of a tie. So if we get into a tiebreaker situation, Packers, Panthers have the leg up. It's not all going to be cut and dry, guys. It's going to be a crazy stretch. It's going to be a crazy stretch. Here we go. Broncos winning it all. You guys know what Broncos defense has done without Surtain? Dogged, locking it down. And what are they going to do when Surtain comes back? Lock it down even more. I think they've let up 1 receiving touchdown in the past 3 weeks is what I think I saw. And it was the Travis Kelce this past week. Since Surtain is out, Broncos have the best defense in the league. If not, they're top 2, top 3 defenses in the league. And Bo Nix is starting to get a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable, and coming back down to earth a little bit. So I like it. JT, Houston's making the playoffs. Houston's got to find some offense consistently to make the playoffs. They're 5-5 right now. I like the Jaguars over the Texans, if I'm being honest. Flip says JT will win MVP. He's going to have to do what he's been doing the past 2 weeks for the rest of the season and hope that Matthew Stafford has a 5-interception game the day before voting. Matt Stafford's 90 years old. He deserves MVP. Matt Stafford, hasn't he never had an all-pro vote or not ever won all-pro? How? Because Matthew Stafford just keeps on dealing year after year after year, and he's a big reason why the Rams are where they are right now. But got chat. Stafford or May over Allen? I agree. I agree this season. Let's get into the QB woes section. Let's get into the QB woes because we do have some woes to talk about. First things first, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur Sanders was very underwhelming. I'm not going to say that he was the reason that the Browns blew the lead against the Ravens. I think they were going to blow it regardless. But come to find out, look, this interception, yeah, he got hit on delivery, got smacked. They completely missed a just run through in the middle of the line of scrimmage. The line didn't play great for him. He's not the most mobile guy. He's not just like a burner. So he really had to win with decision-making, timing, and accuracy, and he couldn't really extend. But it was abysmal, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. 4 of 16, sacked twice, interception, had 16 rushing yards. But I do want to cut him some slack because he has not once, ever taken a rep with the starting offense in practice, not once. And I don't know if I've ever been on a team where the backup has never even taken a snap with the starting offense. Even when I was with Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love got a handful of reps every practice with the ones. He did. You're telling me that you're going to have your backup quarter like that is like not set up for success, especially as a rookie. Like I just, in the nicest way possible, the Browns need to blow it all up. They need to start from scratch. Their defense is incredible, but they need a whole fresh new start. And I don't think that anybody on the internet should be judging Shedeur Sanders off of what we saw in film, because he may never be in a worse situation than that right there for the rest of his career. Now, maybe, but that was just gross. I don't know. Having been a quarterback in the league, if I had, you're talking about even an under center snap from the center. If your first snap with the starting center is in a game, or probably like they were right there on the sideline doing it for the first time to get him ready. That's on the Browns, man. What an abysmal organization. You want to talk about why you're terrible all the time, why you're always in the dumps? Run your shit like the Browns. Sorry, excuse my language. Sorry for cussing. But, good God, man. How can you expect anybody to have success? It was not bad yet. And that's the thing. We saw Shedeur Sanders. I'm seeing you say that, by the way, about his pocket presence. We saw Shedeur Sanders make the first guy miss, sometimes the second guy miss in the pocket. Can't do shit about the third guy. Sorry for cussing. Spent the weekend with Sketch, so now I'm just hooked. But that's what I got to say about Shedeur. I do want to move on and talk about Sam Darnold, because his QB woes were woeful. He went out like Brett Favre-ish. But I promise you, Sam Darnold's not going to throw 4 picks this next week. And look, that's basically the same interception that Shedeur Sanders threw. Hit on delivery, ball sails away on an out route. Not great. Going to drop back, gets somebody pushed into his lap, fades away, gets the ball stepped in front of, makes a bad decision on the robber, able to read his eyes because he's throwing late. I'm going to chalk this up to as a learning experience. And sometimes a regression, trying to do too much. A regression back to the mean a little bit is nice to have before the playoffs hit. This is better than this happening in week 1 of the playoffs, or round 1 of the playoffs. Still threw for 280, still at a 66% completion percentage. It's just unfortunate that he put the ball in danger, and they also made the plays. The Rams made the plays. We saw Jameis Winston yesterday. He should have thrown 4 or 5 interceptions. Should have thrown 4 or 5, but only 1 was picked the last part of the game. Shout out to the Rams defense. They made all the plays that were there to be made. They didn't let any drops happen or any of that good stuff, and they made the plays and they made them pay. So Sam Darnold, he's going to bounce back. He's going to probably throw for 300 this next week. JSN's going to go for 120 and a touchdown, and all will be right in the world. But we did get a playoff matchup preview, in my opinion, with those two teams. Now, lots of talking, a little bit of coffee. All right. Let's talk about J.J. McCarthy, because J.J. McCarthy also turnover machine lately. Good for an interception a game at this point. Sometimes 2. But I will just say he keeps fighting, man. He keeps coming back. 50% completion percentage, 2 picks. Actually got them to a spot where they took the lead at the end of the game. One thing you can't doubt about him is his competitiveness, able to willingness to take hits and willingness to keep slinging. He got them. He could have had this type of game and still let a fourth quarter come from behind victory. So for what it was, JJ McCarthy, he bounced back, and maybe he'll be able to carry over some of that momentum into next week. But if this is what it's going to be every week, it's not going to be good enough. And the Vikings are going to be looking for a new quarterback soon. If that's the case, we'll see. He's still young. He can learn. But this is a little bit of a different situation, because JJ McCarthy has a pretty solid situation around him. It's not like he's playing for the Browns. He's got Jettis, he's got Addison, he's got Aaron Jones, got a good tight end, got a great coach with a good scheme. It's just, he's not putting it together right now. So we'll see if that changes. And then lastly, I talk about Lamar. Lamar didn't get the best shakeout this week, had some weird plays, some weird tip picks off the dome. I think we had an interception. And this right here, I believe, that was just unfortunate. And at the end of the day, Lamar's going to have a game or two like this, And I don't want to discredit the fact that the Browns defense is really good, guys. Like this defense gives everyone problems. It was not a great game for Lamar. He was able to make plays. He was able to get outside the pocket. They ended up running some touchdowns in instead of throwing them. So that was what it was. But if this is a winning game for the Ravens, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't think he's going to play this bad all the time. He's probably played himself out of the MVP consideration this year, but that's what we're looking at. We do, though, have to move on. Let's talk about the Eagles. Can they repeat? I want some answers from chat here, guys, because the way I'm looking at it, this Eagles offense can't get it done. But if their defense is only giving up 10 points a game, the offense can put up 10 points plus. Like, this might just be one of the most boring Eagles teams we've ever seen. But when you're looking at their schedule the rest of the way, you've got the Cowboys, who that game might be a little weird, and it's in Dallas, okay? Like that game could be sketchy. You've got the Bears, who, weirdly enough, they've got some voodoo going on. Dennis Allen brought some of that Louisiana voodoo up there for their team to get some weird wins. That's going to be a weird game. You've got the Chargers West Coast trip. That's probably going to be a weird game. It's a night game, but the Chargers trending down. Then you have the Raiders, the Commanders, the Bills, the Commanders. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what to think about this team. They won 2 games back to back against the Packers and the Lions, where they scored a total of 26 points and won because they let up a total of 16 points between the two. If their defense plays like that against some of the better offenses in the league, you got to remind yourself too, the Lions, they only scored 9 points. The Lions scored like 40 something last week. This just might be one of those defense dominant Eagles Super Bowl runs, kind of like we saw Kansas City do it with their defense when it was just the Spag show and the offense didn't really do a whole lot. We might just see that. That just might be their identity this year. Who the hell knows? Seeing Rob on YouTube chat, the Eagles remind me so much of those Oakland Raider teams in the early 80s where they just physically dominate you. Philly's defense is filthy and that front is terrifying. Blueprint for NFL GMs. Get a front four that can cause havoc time and time again so nothing else matters. That should be the blueprint. Get enough talent up front that the back end doesn't have to be crazy talented, where just a few guys that are good can look incredible because your front four creates problems all game long, even against one of the most premier offensive lines in the league in the Detroit Lions. Lions got their kneecaps bitten off last night. That's just a fact. And I think the Eagles can do it as long as their defense plays that way. But let's get to one of my favorite segments, the How Did It Happen? Gonna move the coffee on over. Gonna grab my old buddy co-pilot here. And let me swap to my film. We got to talk Josh Allen, gang. Let's talk Josh Allen. There's like my chessboard over here. Josh Allen, obviously he's a unicorn, guys. But he also understands the game. And even though he does some sketchy stuff, he, in my opinion, is calculating risk in real time all the time. His interception he threw from his end zone was him trying to throw out of a safety, willing to risk not giving up 2 points plus a possession, in my opinion. I think that's what was happening. I'm going to say that. But watch how he calculates this in real time. So right here, we have what looks like a 3-man rush, okay? When you get a 3-man rush in empty because there's no backs, none of it, that tells you that you're going to have time as a quarterback, okay? You're going to look for your first read, but as long as nobody gets dog walked up front, you're probably going to have time to reset and scramble and get to the second play. That's what we call it in the NFL. Scramble drills the second play. Now, for Josh, we're going to go back to the beginning of this. Look at his feet. Do you see his feet? Quick 3-step and hitch. That means that what he's reading out is a intermediate and under concept. So everything that he's timing his feet for is in here. Now, from this view, you can't see it, but none of the routes that they're running right here are deeper than probably 8 to 10 yards, maybe 12 max. So that's what we're looking at. Do you see how he goes to hitch and throw? He's trying to throw in rhythm, but he's also taking into account, I have a 3-man rush. If this is not perfect, I'm going to get into my second play, damn it, because I'm Josh Allen. So he goes to throw. Also, great little double team knockout here to clear the pocket. Josh knows that now he has to navigate the scramble drill. So he maybe wants to run up, but this guy retraces because these guys all week are being told when you're playing Josh Allen, you don't run the hump behind him because he will just escape up. So they're knowing not to do that. And now he's walling because I can't let Josh scramble for 15 yards. Josh is going to play the game and he's going to reset the pocket to find a big play downfield. Watch how he gets back to the soft part of the big old pocket now, using his scramble ability while keeping his eyes downfield and watching for the second play when the defense now drops somebody 50 yards downfield. Like, that's Josh Allen. And I know that people online like to discredit, scramble play, whatever, like this, that, the third. This wasn't incredible. That was freaking incredible because it all started with the recognition of I have a 3-man rush versus empty. And that's where Josh Allen's winning right now. And I don't think that there is a team in the league that should be running drop 8 on Josh Allen. If I'm a defensive coordinator and I want Josh Allen to feel uncomfortable, I'm bringing pressure from the very first part of them getting into empty, and I'm going to make his receivers win in man-to-man. That's what I'm doing. But I'm seeing chat too. We'll get into chat real quick before we end the show. The last two things that I'm seeing, guys. Matt Stafford for MVP from Nico. I'm with you. I think Matthew Stafford's having an incredible year. Absolute incredible year. If he keeps doing what he's doing, taking care of the football, and they're winning, especially in these primetime games late in the season, I think he's going to run away with it, regardless of what Drake May does. And then lastly, we got Hurts. Hurts plays great in the playoffs. The Eagles know how to win high-leverage games. Most of these teams have no idea how to win big games. I think that's a fact. The Eagles are full of winners. They know how to win, and it may be ugly. It may not be pretty. It may not be a lot of fun to watch or be a part of for them. But with that defense and the firepower that they do have on offense, that when they decide to turn it on and play without the handcuffs, they can get it done. So the Eagles right now in the NFC, the team to beat. The Rams, the team to look out for. The AFC, who the hell knows? But that's a wrap for another Monday morning quarterback show. I'm Kurt Benkert, the host. Shout out to Copilot by Microsoft for making this come to life with the visuals and the tools to make this a fun show. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy it.